Okay, so hi. I'm back. Life kind of got in the way. Sorry about that. I've been gone for a little longer than I expected to be. But I'm back. So, hi. Wanted to talk today about something that does not involve the Instant Pot this time. I want to talk about making Cathead biscuits in the cast iron skillet that we mentioned in the last video. Love it. Love my cast iron. Cathead biscuits, though. Something that I constantly find people will question. What is a cathead biscuit? And I just have to look back at them like, what are you? You don't know what a cathead biscuit is? It's not a southern thing. I know people from the north that are not only aware of what a cathead biscuit is, but can make them. So we tend to think it's a southern thing. It's not. Gosh, if I say something like, something about a cathead biscuit and somebody asks me about that, I just have to look at them and just think, what are you? Are you some kind of, I don't know, technology? Or are you some kind of, I don't know, thing? Are you a robot that's missing a plug-in or some kind of I don't know, some kind of upgrade that you haven't received yet? How do you not know what this is? But they don't. I guess it's just not something that they've heard of. But for those that don't know, I'm not meaning to talk down to you. Maybe it's just not something that you've heard of. Maybe your family just makes biscuits. Or maybe you grew up in a house where your family didn't do a lot of cooking, and that's why you're watching these videos. You're afraid of your kitchen. You want to be a more fearless cook. So maybe you grew up in a house that didn't have biscuits, or I don't know, just had the biscuits that came out of the can. So a cathead biscuit is a biscuit that, for I guess all intents and purposes, is just about the size of a cat's head. It's pretty self-explanatory. Most people use Crisco. They get in there and they work the Crisco into it, and it's real gloppy and mushy. I grew up making it not that way. And that's kind of foreign to a lot of people too. A lot of people that know how to make them in a very traditional way will look at me like I'm crazy because I don't use Crisco in my cathead biscuits. We like it that way. I don't think it really is missing when we make them. You may look up recipes and decide that you want to include that, and that's okay. The recipe that I'm going to show you today does not include that. So if you want to look that up, go ahead and do that. I've already pre-established some things here, gotten some things ready, done some prep work, so you didn't have to watch me get all these things out. The oven is preheated to 400 degrees. We've got our cast iron already sprayed with some cooking spray. Self-rising flour. I am not about that. Get the baking powder, get all the stuff. Not about that life. Use the self-rising flour. I don't know why you wouldn't, okay? I have my sifter that's been passed down to me from my mom, and who knows how long she had it. You can look at it and see. Okay, I've already done 3 cups. Now, if you want to do a smaller recipe, you can do that. If you like flatter biscuits, okay, you can use, think about this. You got to think logically when you're cooking, okay? If you want to use, say, a 12-inch cast iron, and you want to use a smaller amount of flour to buttermilk proportion, you want flatter biscuits, use a larger pan, they'll flatten out. If you want to have a smaller amount, okay, of biscuits, so maybe it's just you and one other person, but you want that cat head consistency, the larger, taller biscuit, get my computer back, use maybe a 10-inch, okay, with the smaller, so you could use 2 cups of flour to 1 cup of buttermilk, okay? So we're going to do a 2-to-1 ratio. So I'm going to use, because I have 5 people in my family, I use 4 cups of flour to 2 cups of buttermilk, okay? I can't imagine a scenario where you would want to do like 6-to-3. But if you had a large family and a large enough, I have a cast iron skillet actually that could hold that easily. I only use it when I'm making a very large batch of cornbread, getting ready for Thanksgiving. But you could do it. You could do whatever you wanted to do. You could make a 5-inch and do a 1 to half a cup. Just make yourself 1 big biscuit. That could be okay too, okay? So you're going to want to sift your flour. I watched a video earlier where the lady said, it's really unnecessary to go all the way around with your sifter. I don't know why people do that. And I thought, because it's fun. Why would you just want to... You really don't. You don't have to go all the way around with your sifter. You don't. When you put flour in it, You don't have to, but why would you not? It's kind of fun. You really don't. As long as the flour goes through there, comes out the other side. When you get down to the last part, you can kind of just shake it. It'll all come out. So I've already put 3 cups in there, okay? We're going to get our other cup of flour. Again, this is self-rising flour, okay? I've got the handy little feature in there that levels it off, okay? Love these canisters. Levels it off. I'm just going to take it, pour it into the sifter, okay? Just set that aside. And I could just go back and forth, and you can see it sifting, and that will do it. But it's kind of fun just to go around with it. When I get down to the bottom, I'm just going to sift it on out, okay? So that's all 4 cups. Take that, set it over here in the sink, get it out of the way. Go ahead, put this away. I like to clean as I go. Get things out of the way. Makes less work later. All right, so now what we've got is we've got 4 cups in the bowl. Okay, 4 cups of flour. All right, so I'm going to get one of my Pampered Chef tools that I love a lot. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little center hole here in my flour. Okay, kind of like making, kind of looks like a little bird's nest, I guess. Just hollowing out a little center spot. Because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my buttermilk and I'm going to pour it into the center. Okay, I've already pre-measured. I have 2 cups. And we use buttermilk. However, let me get back in the thing here. You could just use milk. I have, when I woke up and I really wanted to make biscuits, just decided I was going to come on in the kitchen, make some biscuits. I didn't have buttermilk and I was not putting on full clothes, whatever. I just want to stay in my pajamas. Came in, got some milk, made some biscuits. I'll be honest, it's not the same, but we still have biscuits. So, I'm just going to pour this into the middle, not all at once, about a half a cup, okay? And I'm just going to start stirring. Now, you could wash your hands real well, get in here, put your hands in it, start mushing it around. If you know me, you know that's not my favorite thing, okay? And I know some of y'all know me. I'm not putting my hands in this, okay? So, I have my handy tool. Still going to make biscuits. Now, toward the end, after it's all mixed in, I will get my hands in it. And I did pre-wash my hands before this video, as I always do. Right. Now, here's the part that comes in making it fearless, all right? You got to kind of decide, is this the right texture? You got to give it an eye. You got to think, does this look like dough? Because just because I measure it out, it might not be what I want it to be, all right? That's a lot of cooking, is eyeing things. Is this what I want it to be? I don't know. We're going to look, we're going to see, we're going to change up as we go. Alright, now, this is not as it was before. Not just pure buttermilk in a pan. So I'm going to get my hands in here. Alright, we're going to make sure we go around the edge. Pick up all the little bits of dough. It's still not my favorite thing. But I love my family, and I got a 7-year-old that really wants biscuits tonight. So we're going to make biscuits. Now, if it fits... The cat will get it. If it feels doughy, if it feels gross, and it does, I'm going to get that flour over there. We'll add some more because it's just too doughy. Okay, we're going to need to add some more, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, just a second, and we're going to add some more. And what that's going to do is, right now it's making a big mess. Is what it's doing. Keep my little rag right here. Got my dough still handy. My flour. And I'm just going to add just a good little spoonful. I don't know how much to add. Put it back in there. Roll it back around some more. I'm not going to add too much I can add a little bit at a time, but taking it away, can't do. Now, if I over flour it, I'm going to have to add more buttermilk. I could end up with enough dough to fill this kitchen if I keep going. So I don't want to add a whole lot at a time. Just a little bit at a time is all you want to do. I'm not trying to make it arid dry. I'm not trying to feel like I'm walking through a desert of dough here. I just want to take away a little bit of that stickiness that it's got to it. Okay? You want it to still feel like dough, but you don't want it to be so sticky that it's just sticking to your fingers like it was. I know you saw on the video, okay? If it's sticking to your fingers, you got a problem. Alright, now this is looking much better. See, when I pick it up, I can work with it now. Alright? See how I fearlessly just got me some more flour and went with it? I didn't measure it. I didn't need somebody to tell me, you need to add another tablespoon of flour. Just got me a spoon, decided I was going to add some more flour to it. Now, still a little gloppy. I'm going to be okay with that. We're not going to worry about it, okay? We're going to get our cast iron skillet, pull it over here. Now, when you go to measure your biscuits, just think about it. You know what? Where did my spoon go? Yep, still in here. We're going to give ourselves one more. We're going to get in here with our hands. Give our hands a good solid flour coating. Okay. If you're working with something that's kind of sticky, coat your hands with flour. It won't stick to it. Alright. So, we're going to coat this and we're going to say, alright? Yeah, about the size of my cat's head. Plop it in there. Right? And you're just going to go around. Depends on how big you want. You can make some one time that are a little smaller. Try it out. Do different things. This time make them one size. Next time make them a little smaller. You can change it up a little bit each time as you go. Now let me tell you what the fight in this house is, and traditionally has been always the fight in my mama's house. The center biscuit. When it was your birthday, that's what you got. You got to have the center biscuit. Nobody could take it from you. Because the center biscuit doesn't have that hard edge around the side. It's got the smooth edges. The center biscuit is delicious. Now, as an adult, I don't want the center biscuit anymore. I don't know why. I just don't. I like the edge biscuits. I don't know why. For some reason, as an adult, I like the biscuits that are around the edge much more than I like the center biscuit. It's just a thing. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 4, 6. I don't know. About 8 biscuits. I keep losing count. Alright, so these are going to go in the oven. We're going to let them cook for about 12 minutes and check them. It's probably going to take closer to 15. Depends on the size of the biscuits. These are a little on the smaller side than what I usually do. So I'm going to check them at 12 minutes this time. And we'll see. We'll check back. Alright, just checking back. This is after 5 minutes in the oven. Just giving you guys a quick glance at what they are looking like. Alright, we'll check back. 7 more minutes to cook. Okay, so we're back. The one thing that I forgot to tell you as we were cooking earlier was that right before I put the biscuits in the oven, I decided that I was going to brush them with some butter. So nothing fancy, just got the butter tub, not the stick butter. Could have been stick butter though. Got the tub of butter out, took the back of a spoon, ran it through the butter, and just boop, 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 on top of each one. Back of the spoon, into the butter, onto the biscuit. Boop, 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 on each one until they all had a little bit of butter on them. Nothing fancy, just decided it's what I wanted to do. So, had to adjust the time on the cooking. My oven is a little weird. On any other day, 400 for 12 to 15 minutes probably would have been overcooking. On this day, it happened to not be enough. So my previous oven, I probably would have cooked it at 425 or 450. This one tends to overcook things a little bit. So I downed the temperature a little. You got to be fearless about that kind of stuff. You've got to say, okay, this is my recipe. And if you're cooking from a recipe and I'm going to follow the recipe and it says cook at 400. But you know, if you know your oven cooks things hot, don't be afraid to back off that temperature a little bit. But, you know, if it says that it's 400 degrees and you want to follow that, you know, follow that. I'm cooking at 400 degrees because that's what I would say a lot of biscuit recipes are going to say cook about that time. So that's what I'm telling you to do. So I tried that and it did not work. So what I did was I upped the temperature to 425 and cooked it for probably about 8 to 10 minutes longer, and it worked out great. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay. Got my Pampered Chef mini oven mitts, which I love. Mostly because it drives my kids crazy going like this around the kitchen. Okay. So this is what we ended up with right here. All right. We got a nice pan of biscuits. This is the final product. All right. They're still in the cast iron. And what I like to do, I just take my plate. Okay. I turn it over on top of there. Just like that. I take the whole thing and I just roll it over. Just like that. Okay. Make sure that you've got something that's going to, first of all, drive your family crazy, but also protect your hands. Okay. Now, we're just going to take this. We're going to lift it up. And because I have made sure that I sprayed my skillet, everything came out. Okay. So now we have got a plate full of Cathead biscuits. Just like that. Okay. And when you tell people that you made Cathead biscuits and they look at you like they're some piece of artificial intelligence that's never heard of the word Cathead biscuits, you could educate them on what that is. Okay. I use my, I think I talked about this in the first video. I used my avocado scooper to teach my kids how to butter bread, because this is an avocado scooper if you've never seen one. Okay, avocado peeler. I call it a scooper. Avocado peeler. All right. I also tend to just grab it and do a lot of things with it around the kitchen. In this particular case today, what I did was I opened up the oven and I lifted the edge of one of the biscuits to see how it was cooking. It didn't hurt it. Okay, it was far enough along in the cooking. And just to make sure that how it was browning and how it looked. Okay, this is a cake tester. A very old cake tester, as you can see. I have to bend it back into shape. You're going to want to make sure that your biscuits are done in the middle. All right. I stuck this down in the middle about halfway through cooking just to see what our consistency was. See how ooey gooey they still were in the middle, kind of like you would do with a cake or anything else. You know, pulled it back out, looked at it. If there's ooey gooey stickiness on your cake tester, you're still cooking along. If it comes out clean, you know that you don't have that thick packiness down in the middle of your biscuits. Okay. Two good little handy tools to have. I use this avocado peeler for so much stuff around the kitchen, you have no idea. Handy little tool to have. So right now we're going to take it, we're going to hollow out that center biscuit. And it's just going to pop right out. And this is the prized biscuit that everybody wants for their birthday. It's piping hot. It's kind of hurting my hand. All right. As you can see, no little hard edges around it. That's the one that everybody fights over for their birthday. As an adult, I like these edge biscuits a lot. To me, that's a good looking pan of biscuits, good looking plate of biscuits. We're going to enjoy them this evening. You guys, let me know in the comments if you want to know more about this. I'm going to post exactly what I did. I'm going to go back to the original video and post there too. Somebody sent me a comment and said that would be a good idea. My 13-year-old actually told me, I'm learning this kind of stuff as I go. I don't really know what I'm doing, to be honest, but I'm figuring it out. So appreciate the feedback, appreciate the comments. If you like what I'm doing, tell me what you want to see. Give me some comments. Somebody said something about some fish recipes, so we may talk about that some. I had the suggestion from somebody about some fish and about some chicken and dumplings. So we'll talk about some various ways to make chicken and dumplings. That's something that scares a lot of people. So we'll definitely be doing some chicken and dumplings. Homemade, quick and easy, varieties of chicken and dumplings. So you guys hang in there and we'll see you soon.